in as the Taliban in a statement has said that Kashmir is an internal issue and Taliban will not interfere. This is a strong statement being made by the Taliban to Pakistan, where Taliban has clarified that a statement circulated on social media regarding India and attributed to it does not belong to the Islamic Emirate, whose policy is very clear not to interfere in the internal affairs of others. Also, the statement that read that the policy of Islamic Emirate regarding neighbor states is very obvious that we do not interfere in the domestic issue of other countries. Now, the remarks come after a series of tweets attributed to the Taliban spokespersons claimed that friendship between the group and India is impossible unless the Kashmir issue is resolved. Aishwarya Kapoor, our political editor, joining us on the phone line. Aishwarya, that's a big snub to Pakistan once again by the Taliban. But to take us through the details of the statement coming in and its implications.
Right. Well, at this point of time, the Taliban's political outfit, the very openly known Islamic Emirate has officially not only snubbed Pakistan but the whole propaganda of the Pakistani deep state, because India is not impacted what the Taliban feels about the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir, but then they have snubbed the propaganda of Pakistan by saying that Kashmir is an internal matter. To India it matters the least, but then it is directly, and I repeat, it directly impacts the Pakistani deep state. It directly impacts the work of the ISI, the Pakistani army, who have been trying to work with the Taliban for the last 2 to 3 decades, and this is a clear snub back to them. And this also very, very clearly shows that the back channel talks which have been on between the government of India and Taliban after Taliban came into the political dispensation of Afghanistan after 3 decades has been working out, because now you have the political outfit of Taliban officially making it clear that Kashmir is an internal matter of India, to which once again the government of India sources say that whatever Taliban feels about the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir, India is not directly impacted by it, but then indirectly yes, because it's snubbing the whole propaganda of Pakistan, who have been trying to work over the hours, or rather round the clock, with Taliban and then counter India. So they have once again fallen flat. Afghanistan, their whole Afghanistan policy has fallen flat. The deep state of Pakistan has failed yet again, and the back channel stock of the NSA, of the Indian NSA, Ajit Doval, seems to be reaping fruits for India, because Afghanistan and then the Taliban, which is now in the political dispensation, it is a part of alliance in Afghanistan, and in somewhere or the other, Taliban's political outfit is clearly stating and rather snubbing Pakistan, and that is very, very important for India, that India is now becoming a major player even in Afghanistan, and Pakistan and its devious terrorist activities are being snubbed even by the organization to the likes of Taliban.
Absolutely, Aishwarya. Fact remains that Pakistan tries its level best to cobble support when it comes to gaining anti-India front on Kashmir, but Pakistan that is miserably failing on every front, and Taliban now clarifying the same. A big snub to Pakistan. Aishwarya, we have some more breaking news coming in. Stay with us, because we're now picking up how India has increased its troops on the eastern Ladakh border. This after skirmishes that were reported with Chinese troops and on both Sikkim and the Ladakh border as well. Development after clashes that took place during the first week of the month, but India now having increased its presence. Aishwarya, what are you picking up on this front?
Foremost, India is not the aggressor. India has not initiated. India has only aptly reverberated. India has only aptly responded back to the PLA. PLA army, that is the Chinese army, has increased its presence by double. That is what we are being told by our sources within the Indian army, that the PLA has increased its presence just by the number double in that very specific eastern Ladakh sector. And this is something which has been happening for a while. If you go back 40 days, within the last 40 days, there have been 3 to 4 incidents which have taken place along the LAC. First and foremost, we saw on the 5th and 6th of May how a scuffle, not a single shot was fired, but a scuffle which involved around 200 soldiers from both the sides, a brutal scuffle which rather left around 100 soldiers on the either side basically injured. was basically initiated once again after the PLA soldiers crossed over onto the Indian side. There was another such incident in another sector, and then we saw just around 3 to 4 days back how a Chinese chopper came onto the Indian airspace for 12 to 15 kilometers, and all of this is happening in complete synchronization with of what their puppets Pakistan is doing, because whenever there are or rather whenever there is an increase in cross-border violation, which is nothing more than a shield for Pakistan to pump in their terrorists onto the Indian side, the Chinese on the LAC try to create distraction for the Indian army, but the Indian army has been able to decipher this very tactic, because Pakistan and then the Chinese army act in tandem. Hence the Indian side has also aptly responded and then only increased its presence onto the eastern Ladakh sector. Once again, we repeat that India has not initiated. India is not an aggressor. India is only responding back aptly to whatever the Chinese troops are doing, because LOC is marked, LOC is wired, that is our border with the Pakistan, but the LAC that is on the Chinese side, it is not clearly demarcated, it is not a wired fence. Hence the Chinese army, we have had incidents where the Chinese army come onto the Indian side, and that's where these kind of disruptions occur. But then we have seen this synchronization that whenever Pakistan tries to do something, the Chinese army also try to work in tandem. So the Indian army has now deciphered a way where they are able to not get distracted and then act simultaneously on both the fronts.
All right, Aishwarya, thank you for those details.